Hey everyone, so here I am, Rachel Crow with Eartha Love. We're both looking quite different, I think, from maybe last time we did a video. It's me more than everyone else. But we've been talking a lot the last year about the process that we've both been through, facing death in different ways, and how much the tools that we've learned in our lives have supported us, and those tools we share in our Deepening Woman online course. And we kind of have both felt like it's time to put that out there again to support women who just really maybe feeling a bit lost, maybe going through menopause or going through we're all going through an initiation at the moment, but it's really for those women who just really feel like it's time to stepping into your power, really, isn't it? And kind of
Yeah.
learning these medicine tools that we're sharing, which I know for me, I could not have got through what I've gone through in the last year. So, for anyone who doesn't know, last year I was diagnosed with stage 4 incurable cancer. And I knew I'd had cancer, for the previous couple of years, but something happened. Don't even know what it was that triggered it, where it just went crazy and spread. And I had surgery, and the tumors they removed were 15 centimeters. There were these massive things. And I know I'm not the only person who's been through that journey last year. There were quite a few people on some of the groups I was on where it was almost like we were being asked to step up in
Mm.
some way, or asked to face death, or given a situation that we didn't have any choice but to stare death in the face, and make difficult choices about treatment and all that stuff. And for me, there was a lot of really going within, really using my tools, really using the guidance of my spirit guides, and my intuition led me all the way. And I made choices that my friends would never have thought. I mean, my mum was just like, I can't believe you chose to do chemotherapy. And I was just like, I was absolutely trusting that that was what I needed to do, after having 2 years of going, no fucking way. No. It was that level of surrender, isn't it? We have to surrender and kind of go, okay, I trust this is where I'm being led, and I trust this is what I need to do. And you know I had, it was quite an amazing journey, because it was almost like still having my menstrual cycle, because every month I had chemotherapy, I was facing death. And
Yeah.
you know even though I felt great, I got through it not feeling too bad. I always had a couple of days where it was just like you know dark night of the soul stuff, and really having to use the tools. I'd pull myself up, I'd listen to a meditation that took my body to a golden crystal palace where all my guides were working on healing me. It's just like, pull out all the fucking tools that you've got. Had to drum my soul back into my body, because I could feel that every month when I had
Mm.
chemo, my soul just was like,
Mm.
I'm out of here. It's
Yeah.
like that the trauma that my body was doing. My soul was just like, I'm not hanging around for this. So I had to drum my soul back in every month, and really work with my body. But I was up and about. I remember the 5th month of chemo, some of my friends were going, wow, my dad had chemo, he was in bed for weeks.
Mm.
And I was just like, it didn't floor me. It didn't floor me. And people were going, how, why, what were you doing? And it was like basically using all the tools that I had at my disposal, which I've
Mm.
Eartha and I have learned a lot working together from each other. And and also having people who will support you. And it had been amazing, weird synchronicity, kind of really witnessing your grief and your facing death, and that gave me strength, because I knew from what you were experiencing from Steve on the other side, that there is
Mm.
no death. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
the biggest death is actually leaving the people behind, isn't it? That's
Mm.
what brings up the grief of, like, if I'm dying, okay, I can surrender to dying, but I don't want to leave my kids. I don't, there's
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But ultimately, none of us know when we're going to die. None of us, we can't plan. you know, and that's what's happening at the moment, isn't it? We can't plan. Like, we're in this death initiation worldwide. I can't make any bloody plans, because I make a plan, something goes, no, you're not doing that.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I mean, hi everyone. Just, you know, me and Rachel coming together to talk about this now, because we want to relaunch Deepening Woman, if you like, because we both, the synchronicities of us both facing death in our own unique way. Just at the beginning of the lockdown, just at the beginning of this death process that humanity's going through. And, you know, it just shows you, it shows me anyway, how much the divine is working with us. Like, there's no you know, it's not a coincidence that these things have happened to us now. And, you know, as well, it's what Rachel was just saying, you know, being with love of your life when they passing over, and helping someone through a coma, you know, so the process of death doulaing that I had to do, you know, never mind for someone, you know, who is the love of your life, your beloved, was just so, it was, you know, it wasn't easy, but I knew that I knew it was like, okay, this is Steve's ultimate rites of passage. This is my ultimate rites of passage. This is what we've been working towards, you know, Rachel and I, but also with Steve, was this journey of working with rites of passage and vision quest and soul work and healing. And it was like, okay, so this, I'm being faced with this. And I realized, you know, because of Deepening Woman, because of the tools that we have, I realized very quickly, once I got over the shock, and, you know, the shock was there all the way through it. The terror was there all the way through it. Rachel said, I was like, my soul kept trying to leave my body, because it just couldn't, you know, it was that part of me just wanted to switch off, because I didn't want to deal with that. I was in so much shock, but I had to keep using all of the tools that I had to pull my soul back into my body, so I could be there completely and utterly during the process, during the transformation, and you know what, it was just being able to have the tools. So some of the tools that we use in Deepening Woman is like the Heart Lodge and the soul work and the, you know, all around our cycles, just understanding the transformation that we go through in the threshold. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know, so I am actually in this death threshold, in the center of the life spiral of the map of womanhood. And I know that there will be the moment of rebirth. I know that there will be the moment of transformation, and that what I need to do is completely surrender and let go and breathe. And me and Rachel had these synchronicities. So I was like, you know, when I was in the darkness of the dark, you know, the real darkness of the dark night of the soul, I would be like, okay, and we'd talk, and I'd see Rachel, and I'd be like, okay, we're both going through this in our different ways. And it was like, this isn't for no reason. This is because we have the tools. If you know, I need to put everything into action, like Rachel, like you said, Rachel, I had to put everything into action. I had no choice. I was faced with something so profound and so sacred that I had no choice but to be with it completely and utterly as a journey of awakening. And I feel that that's what I kept getting from you as you were moving through your journey, was that, yes, we were in the dark night of the soul. Yes, we were facing fear. Yes, we were facing soul loss. But we were also in this really profound, sacred journey of awakening of ourselves to our soul, to the fact that there is no death, to the afterlife. Both of us have journeyed very strongly with the afterlife. Both of us have had near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences through this process, and actually understand the afterlife so much more than we did before. So we know there's no death, we know there's a transformation, and it's like, that's such a sacred journey of awakening. And I'm like, you know, okay, I'm not saying I'm able to be in that all of the time, but when I am, I'm so grateful. You know, it's like, in a way, I wouldn't change it. And I've heard, Rachel, you say that about your cancer journey. It's like, it's a massive trauma, it's the biggest gift. You know, that's how I feel about what I've been through. You know, of course, you know, there's part of me that would want to change it, but also I understand that I'm grateful for the gift, because like you said, we all have to face our physical death. We all have to know that you can't avoid it. We're all going to leave our living temples, I like to call them, our bodies. These are our spirit houses to our souls, and our soul is going to go at some point and leave this living temple. So we have to face that and see, you know, we can't change it no matter how much our mind wants to change it. Our mind goes into fear, our mind goes into, oh my God, you know, and tries to find these ways to avoid it all. And you want to hand it over to someone else to save you. You can't. You have to go down into your heart, and you have to feel that you're on the path of awakening. There's no avoidance. You're going to face death at some point in your life. Okay, because this year was my moment. This year was your moment. Face that fear and to bring it into the sacred. And I feel like I'm so grateful to know you, and to be able to share this, and to be able to share Deepening Woman to help other people with it as well, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting you were thinking about gratitude, because as you were talking, I was thinking, yeah, I think that was one of my main emotions, was I am so grateful that this is happening now, because of all I've learned. It was almost like everything I learned before was for this moment. You know, it was like,
I felt the same.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're absolutely like, oh wow, that's why I know this. Oh wow,
that's
that's
why.
why I know. You know, so
Yeah, and I remember having that going, oh no, oh my gosh, everything I'm doing is for this conscious death process. Damn, that's not what I meant. You know, it's like, okay, right. So this is why I've lived this life that I've lived for this moment. And I feel that that's so true with this collective death threshold, this lockdown, this coronavirus, we've been born for these times. I mean, me and you have said it before. We were born for these times. It's like everything we put in place in our life has been to help us to navigate this. This is the dawning of the age of the new earth. And it's like, oh my gosh, like we have the tools to do this. We have the tools to see this as an initiation, to see this as a rites of passage, to understand that we're out in the wilds in the mountain, and that we have to go through this process that we've both been in this past year of surrendering, letting go, going into the heart, to feel the sacredness of the holiness that's being birthed, which is a new earth. And it's, you know, yeah, it's grateful, gratitude.
yeah, because we're actually, the potential of what our new earth, what the new future could be, is so exciting. It's like, you know, this is the apocalypse, this is World War III. It's just happening in a way that we couldn't possibly have imagined. And you know, I feel like we're probably getting it easy in some ways. It could have been a lot worse, but it's the important thing for Eartha and I. We both talk about the, you know, what we're dreaming in for the future. You know, what, while we're on the theoretical mountaintop, you know, are we dumbing down with booze and Netflix and food, or are we doing our light work? You know, are we drumming, are we singing, are we dreaming the next future? And you know, that's the work of the Deepening Woman. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
we need to be focusing on the possible timelines that could be coming in. And you know, for me, I've constantly said to people, it's like, just keep visioning that future of like living in harmony with the earth, in harmony with each other, you know, growing natural food. We have to get back. I mean, it's not about going back, you know, because we can't go back. We've got all this technology, which is amazing, because you know, we're able to connect. Eartha's in Portugal and I'm in Wales. It's like, you know, we can still work together, which is amazing to have that technology. But there's also the technology that's sort of gone too far, where you know, they've just passed some laws in England to genetically modify meat now. So, and it's just like, you
Oh
know, we
God.
need to go back to eating
Yeah.
much more simply and eating
Yeah.
from the earth. You know, we
Yeah.
eating plants. It's like
Yeah.
our mother is feeding us. Our mother is like, she's here going, I'm here, you know, I'm holding you, I've got
Yeah.
everything you need. You know,
Yeah.
the only person worth talking to at the moment is her. You know?
Yeah.
You need the
Absolutely,
ambulance.
yeah.
Go and talk to her.
Yeah, you're so right. And it's like that's the collective soul loss, is that we are disconnected from her, and we can't feel a way forward because we're in this collective soul loss. You know, we're fragmented parts of her, and it's like, you know, we need to pull ourselves back together. And I feel like, you know, so, you know, going back to the life spiral, how much, you know, you're in that dark night of the soul in your teenage years, you're in that dark night of the soul in your menopause, and after you give birth, you know, you're out on this the wilds of the unknown of becoming a mother, and how to navigate it. And I think, you know, at each of those points, it shows us there's always the rebirth. You do become an adult, you do become an elder, you know, and it's like, how do you do that journey in a good way? You know, and that's kind of like what we're in, isn't it? You know, seeing ourselves becoming, metamorphosizing into this new species, or new human that is coming from a place of love. And how do we get there in a good way? You know?
And I think sort of you touching on the life spiral, you know, part of that, you know, the fragmented self, you know, when we go back in the life spiral, we go right back to birth, we start from there with the Deepening Woman, and we're kind of calling back those parts of ourselves and mending those thresholds where, you know, I know for me, those early thresholds of like teens, and, you know, even for me, early motherhood, I had my eldest when I was 18, you know, I numbed out on all of that. I was not being present, you know.
No,
The
exactly.
next time, the next child, I was much more present and much more in control and in my sovereignty of like, this is how I want it and this is how it's going to be. But so, you know, you get a chance to almost go back and do that soul work.
And it's all the growth in consciousness, isn't it? You know, the growth in consciousness from child to adult. You know, we're in this massive growth in consciousness with this awakening that's happening. And it's like, yeah, we have a chance to go back and just to mend all of those bits, don't we? So that will, you know, that is what is going to help us with this journey that we're in as we now face this collective death threshold. And it's like, yeah, bringing consciousness to it all. Just powerful times, really powerful times that we're living in, you know.
It is, and I my prayer is that more people will see that.
I know, to not focus on the chaos and the fear, and to really be with, yes, the chaos and the fear has a purpose, you know. And I'm not saying it's easy, it's not an easy road to travel, but I don't think there's any choice. Like, I'd rather be, you know, feeling the sacred and the holy, and using the tools that we have to stay connected, rather than flailing around in the chaos and the fear, because we haven't got a choice. We're going, like, you can't stop your body becoming an adult. You can't, you know, we can't stop this process that we're in. You know, we just need to navigate it with the tools that we've got in a good way. So and what beautiful work.
It is. So we'd love to invite you to join us on Deepening Woman, and we're going to hold we did have a Facebook group before, but we're off Facebook now. We're not giving Mark Zuckerberg any of our data anymore. So we're going to have a support group on Telegram. So you can join us on Telegram. You don't have to be on the support group. This work is, you know, it's set up so that you can just do it in your own time. We advise spending at least 9 months. There's 9 thresholds to work through, so 9 modules, but you can
one a month if you can.
You can take as long as you need to, but to keep the momentum going, it's good to do it monthly, isn't it? And we try.
I think if you don't want to, you want to try, like, we want to make it less stressful for women, because we know that birthing the new earth through the heart of the sisters is a huge task, along with cooking and cleaning and picking up the kids and all sorts. But so we want to leave it for you to feel relaxed, but also to be aware that you don't want to lose the thread, like Rachel said, the momentum between each threshold, because one informs the other. So if you lose the energy, the thread, you kind of have to go back. You know, you'll see anyway the self-inquiry questions and ceremonies and meditations to do, and shamanic journeys, and just keeping that momentum is a good thing. I mean, there might be a place where you feel you need a pause. I'm not saying there might not be that moment where you really need to just sit and be rather than move on, but just so we've tried to make it as relaxed as possible. So we advise one threshold a month, so it's a 9-month course. So it's such beautiful work, so I can't say anything else. It's so sacred to be understanding this life spiral, and giving thanks to Gail Burkett for that.
And it's interesting because a friend of mine who's done the course was just saying she doesn't know of any other course that's like this one. This is quite unique. This is where Eartha and I have brought our life's work together and woven it together with the life spiral from Gail, and it is pretty unique. So we invite you to just have a look. If it calls to you, let us know. We'll put all the links with the video and our links for our other work as well. Eartha's got some exciting things coming up, so we can let you know what's in the pipeline, and maybe some more work with some different work, Eartha and I. Who knows?
We might do some conversations to help. I mean, we want to focus on this new Earth that's coming and get really in our empowerment with it. So help this space.
Everybody.
Good chatting to you, Rachel.
And do look forward to being on the Deepening Woman journey again.
Bye everyone.